Welcome everybody back to another BOLDcast reaction. I'm Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
And this is Apothecary Diaries, Season 1, Episode 20. Last episode was absolutely insane.
It was crazy.
Maomao absolutely tanked a concussion from that palace guard and stopped what was potentially an assassination attempt, most likely an assassination attempt on Jinshi by Lakan. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see what that guy, what
does he want? Why was he so shocked?
This whole deal, everything. We're gonna see what Maomao is gonna think now that she can't ignore all of these details about Jinshi that weren't quite adding up. That she was just like, huh, this is weird, I'm gonna ignore that.
She didn't even ignore them. She just took everything for granted that he was a eunuch and whatever, above my pay grade. I don't care. Like, literally just didn't even consider it. But regardless, yeah, she's gonna, I hope we learn a decent amount this episode. Leave a like and subscribe. Check out Patreon to get uncuts for the rest of Season 1. Let's go. Sandalwood. Wait a minute.
What?
Sandalwood incense. Sandalwood was the smell of, I mean, maybe it's common. It's probably common.
It's very common.
Of course. But that's what she commented on when she was walking past fucking, what's her name? The mystery Philosopher's Stone girl.
Oh, yeah.
She was like, oh, it smells like sandalwood.
Strange.
I wonder if she lost an eye. That would be insane.
15.
Oh.
一体どういうことだ。ません。
が危険にさらされればね。だからとて怒鳴られる筋合いはないのだが。方ですみません。
気にするな。それでどういう経緯であの場所に来たのか。
There's a crazy plot going on.
Yeah.
説明してもらおうか。
Remember that thing you asked me to look into?
重なり合った事故です。しかしまるで意図的に偶然が引き寄せられたようでした。そういう意味では事故ではなく事件と言えるでしょう。去年、霊部の高官である少年様が亡くなったこと。二つ目に倉庫でぼやが起き、同時に別の場所で細具が盗まれたこと。そして三つ目はほぼ同時期に細具の管理者が食中毒で倒れたことです。
No idea.
さらにもう一つ重要なことがあります。
なんだ。
細具です。祭事では祭壇の柱を金属線で吊り上げ、ここに固定していました。もし事故に見せかけるのであれば、要であるでしょう。
そんなものが盗まれたら作り直さないわけがないだろう。
And they did.
Exactly, that's the point. But the guy who made them died.
亡くなった彫金職人か。
はい。盗まれた金具は彫金細工師によって作り直されたのです。もしこの金具が熱で壊れるように。
バカか、金属だぞ。そんな程度の熱で。
Crazy how important that episode was.
Yeah, the sun can do it. A little candle, like right below it. It's the whole thing, and none of the people knew anything.
It's the perfect crime. Is that her? Is that the girl?
That just the younger son?
I didn't know if he looked exactly the same, but that looks kind of like her, but just dressed up as a eunuch.
Or is this the?
I think that's the
the
older one. Yeah.
Oh.
But I think that's her
Just
ordering,
okay,
dressed as a guy
yeah.
ordering this shit. Or it's if she has a brother. I forget what the other younger guy looked like. We should look back.
その前に消してしまえば依頼人の名も低温で溶ける金属の技術も闇に葬られ、とても都合。
まさか殺されたのか。
それはわかりません。
He left a very elaborate will, so I actually have no idea.
Yeah.
死んだ職人に金具の製作を頼んだ人間はその技術が何であるか知っていた。私が言えるのはここまでです。
And there's one person we know who definitely knew about that.
あの場にジンシ様がいると。
But again, why would Lakan do all of this and then tell Jinshi to look into the metalworkers' kids? What the fuck?
Well, because
is
he wanted
playing at?
Maomao to look into the metalworkers. But here, okay, yeah. So
You see?
the only thing that could be, you know, done is if he did think that Jinshi was gonna die, because he would have to know that she would expose this to Jinshi, and he would be the incredibly obvious suspect.
Yeah.
You know, so then, but unless he, you know, unless he wanted to get caught so that he could fucking pull some, I don't know
know about that.
あのまま祭事が続いていたら何者なんだよ。こんな
Wait a
大
minute.
掛かりな事件で命を狙われるに値する人。知ったところで面倒なだけだ。
So silent.
私には関係ない。
Wouldn't be so certain of that.
はい、
Little time skip?
お客様よ。
Lihaku
例の
again?
事件、水霊という幹女が関係していたんだが、
やはり水霊。
Yep.
死体で見つかったよ。
She's dead? No way.
飲んだ時には毒を煽って倒れていたらしい。
I'm calling it right now before we move any further at all. She's not dead. She drank a poison that
That,
she
like,
designed that slows your heartbeat to a
To the
certain
point
degree.
that she would think that
medically
that
dead.
she was dead.
Yes.
And then she wouldn't be dead.
And then she's gonna rise up in that casket
So then they,
in the OP.
yeah, because they know that all of the doctors around here are like somewhat incompetent. If Maomao had been inspecting her, she might have been able to tell, or if she had been able to see the poison.
Yeah.
Um,
And
but
Maomao,
then-
but now
but then
Maomao's gonna
if-
put it together with those
yeah,
flowers.
or then if Maomao's gonna put it together, or like if she's then comes alive and Maomao sees her, then she's gonna be like, oh my god, did she get brought back from the dead?
She's
No.
gonna be dressed as a male eunuch. Like in that, like with the fucking metal worker that we just saw. That's why they just showed us. They had no reason to show us that. That metal worker we never even saw. He was a dead man,
Yeah.
and we met his children. But they showed us this fucking person with the exact same blue eyes that
And
Mao
it's
Mao
very
and this woman
specific
have.
that she was tall, so she could
Yes.
easily pass for a man.
Yes. Guys, give us a harder to figure out show. This is fucking easy, you know. But that's why in the OP, like if we hadn't seen the OP, I wouldn't have come to that so quickly. For one, but
And-
well, I probably would have. But the somebody sitting up in the casket. But why? Where is that going to come into it? Why would, if Lakan is behind her actions?
But
Why
he
would he
wants
want
her
her-
to take the fall for it, but he doesn't actually want her to die, so she could just leave.
Well, now she's a phantom. She's off the books. She's off the fucking grid.
Yeah.
So she can maybe just straight up kill somebody, and there will be no trace of it because she can move with impunity. She's untrackable. She's untraceable. She has no name. She has no fucking social security card. She's presumed dead. So she can move freely.
毒を煽って
So what she'll do with that freedom, we shall find out.
による検視も済んで死亡も確認された。
どうなるのですか。
明日には棺に出たまま家計に注いで
Coffin and all.
関係者
Closed casket.
他にはいない。水霊一人だけだ。
Seems suspicious. Seems like that's definitely
Hell
not
no.
true.
とにかく一件落着だな。
Yeah, it's solved. She's like, yeah, the last like 3 or 4 times that it's been solved.
本当にこれで終わりなのか。いや、それ以前にスイレイは自殺するような女だろうか。投げやりな態度は先がないと分かっていたからか。でも試すような口ぶり。ここに朝顔を植えるの。
She thought about it all fucking day.
帰りの薬。
Resurrection medicine.
憶測じゃダメだ。
She's limping.
お願いしたいことがあります。
なんだ
I need to go see some dead bodies.
スイレイを変死したイガンとお話がしたいのです。良きはね、
Okay, well, don't say it like that.
好奇心に負けた。
Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh.
何もジンシ様まで中に入らなくて。が入るなら俺も行く。わかりました。
What is the suspicious one right here?
It's gonna be empty.
Yeah.
It's gonna be empty 1,000%.
ありがとうございます。
申し訳ありません。
やはりこのイカンが剣士を親しげに話していた彼女が死んで、なおかつ罪人扱いされたのだから、やつれもでもそれだけだろうか。
Or did
担
he
当
help
者
her?
に聞きます。彼女が飲んだ毒にマンダラケが使われていませんでしたか。
それは。
馬屋の上の小高い丘、ここにマンダラケを植えたのではありませんか。毒性は強いですが、適量なら麻酔薬として作用します。医局にそれがないとは思えません。マンダラケは白い朝顔の花に似ている。
It's the OP flower.
断言はできない。症状から見てその可能性は高いが、特定はできない。
実際に確かめてみましょう。
Just breaks it, doesn't even open it up. Oh, really? Oh, okay. Opens her stitches. It's
They're just
empty.
like, geez, they're like, what the fuck?
ください。
やめろ。
吐きました。
Or a different body.
Different
Yeah.
person.
そんな。確かに水霊だったの。
So he suspected but just didn't want to believe it?
No,
Oh.
he knew that it was her because he knew her.
Because he's in love with her.
Yeah.
真の像も動いていなかった。綺麗なもんだったよ。
いいように利用されたんですね。正体を解明するために体を切り刻もうと考えました。
Because she like planted the
水霊
seed.
を見越していた。
Cause
She like was flirting with him or going
Yeah.
talking to him all the time, taking an interest in him.
医局の薬を調べれば何を使ったかわかると思います。缶を責めるとすれば薬の管理が不十分だったことだろうか。
どういうことだ。が違うというのは。
棺桶を燃やすにしても何が空だと怪しまれます。
Hmm.
新しい棺の中に灰を入れて持ち
where
込
did
み
you get this different corpse from?
Probably from one of the other
水霊の遺体を
coffins.
にしても目立つだろ
She wasn't dead.
必要はありません。
She's not dead.
う。どういうことだ。
It's still a risky
歩
move.
いて帰ったのですから。
It's risky, but she must have some reason.
人を死んだように見せる薬があります。
聞いたことはあるが、そんなのは幻想だ。どんなものだ。
異国にあるというその薬は人を一度殺しばらくの後蘇らせるそうで、詳しくはわかりませんが、材料にマンダラケとフグを
Okay.
Pufferfish.
Pufferfish.
ショーマン。
ガオシュン様、空の棺桶を調べていただけますか。
はい。釘の跡です。
おそらく死んだ水霊が入っていたので、そして助けに来た者が棺桶を開ける頃、息を吹き返した。死体が入った棺桶を代わりに置き、業者の格好に変装して出ていった。
Hey, yo.
こんな確証のない方法を取ったという。
This is an incredibly risky
彼
method.
が死罪になるのでしょ。私なら喜んでかけますよ。
いや、
If I have to die, it will be by poison.
ここに遺体がないということは、水霊は賭けに勝ったということ。遺体が燃やされた後なら完全勝利だったはずですが、そんな真似は
Starting to act like lock-on now.
To get the recipe for this poison so I can try it myself. She's like, I've never respected anyone more.
She is straight up lock-on mode.
Sorry about that. Got carried away. Got too hyped up.
Nobody's gonna comment on the crazy villain like,
On
behavior.
this girl again. What?
Fucking... Where's she from? She's from the south, right? Pufferfish? The seaweed?
She's all tangled up in all of this.
She is maybe with Lock-On or in some way helping to orchestrate or gonna benefit from this because maybe she wants to be with Jinshi? Maybe? Or no, sure, maybe... I don't know. I don't know, actually, what she would get out of it. But she's related to with all that shit. Give it, like, helping all this stuff. She's I mean, that's probably what the scene is telling us. I'm surprised by it.
医官によると彼の死が彼女の後見人だったという数年前彼女の才能を見抜き養女に迎えたらしいがそれ以前のことはよくわからないという
Oh. Is she straight up an assassin?
いつも悪いねまた傷口が開くようなことをされてはいけませんからしかし心配なのは怪我だけではない
This for her
Evil
behavior.
villain laugh.
羅漢のこともある父親であることは確かなようだが薬屋の態度を見る限り事情があるのだろう明日は高級だ
Why are they zooming in on his drink? There's something weird right now.
すなわち
He's about to get poisoned. Drinking something gross.
一応のけじめだ考えつまんの人前ではやらない方がよろしいかと随分幼く見えます洗練された所作天女の笑み蜂蜜の声高級が限定のものになった5年前に宦官となった弱いそれが人種なのだ
Okay.
人種
Okay, here we go. Here we go. You're right.
こうして毎日男でなく作戦を飲み続けてそのうち本当に不能
What do you mean by that? To suppress his manhood?
He's 17, but he's masquerading as a 24-year-old who can't grow facial hair. So they've been giving him medicine to suppress his hormones, or perhaps like up his estrogen or something, so that he doesn't.
He appears more like a
his
eunuch.
voice
and
doesn't
yeah.
go too low, and he doesn't have facial hair.
I understood the voice part of it, that maybe they could give him a drug to do that. I wasn't considering, I guess, the hormone aspects of it. Like, yeah, like what do you drink something and make your balls go back up in your body? Like, you know, like, I guess, yeah, just make him more womanly and beautiful because he doesn't have testosterone.
本当に不能になりますよ
How come I didn't have the warning label now?
もう成人していますし先日
A grandchild? How old are you?
I mean, he looks like he's, you know, 40.
末の息子もそろそろ嫁をもらってもいいのですが
So he drinks it too.
知ってませんだろまだ19じゃないかええあなた様
Oh, he's sorry,
19.
19, not 17.
I think he maybe was 17 previously.
さっさとお手つきを作ってこんな仕事を終わらせると言ってあげな早く孫を
Nice wifely
I'd like to
option
have
around
time
here.
to spend with my grandchild. It's sad. So then, what's the deal? Like, what's the work here then?
Is being the fake eunuch and do, you know.
Or yeah, no, I guess that's not what I meant to say. Like, how is he gonna stop it by finding a wife? Like he's tasked by the emperor to do this, isn't he? Like,
Yeah, but I mean, someone else could go in as like I guess the whole thing is like he's trusted and he's doing this, but at the same time he is also royalty and he's doing something that will eventually cause him bodily harm. So I think he could potentially stop doing it, but that would have to be approved by the emperor. And I think
we also don't know if the emperor knows if it's his son or not.
What it all comes back around to is Jinshi doesn't feel like he has any other talents.
Yeah.
That would allow him to
do something
else. He can't say, "Oh, I will go out and like command this portion of the army because I'm so good at that," or "I will, I don't know, take over this other responsibility. I will be this type of advisor or that type of person." It's just like, he's not like old enough. He doesn't have enough, he's in this weird position where he's doing something that is specifically really good for him. But is also at a severe detriment to him.
Yeah.
At the same time. And it's like the emperor's orders, but the emperor might be willing to renegotiate, because it's also the thing, it's like he's taking this drug, it's like, if he just, like, if the emperor doesn't know that it's his son, it's still his brother, And, like, I don't know. I guess it depends on how he feels about that.
Yeah. But, like, yeah, it does change things, because, like, if the emperor's doing all this so that he can secure, like, an heir and a wife...
But he already has
has an adult heir,
Yeah.
Then that completely changes everything.
Mm-hmm. But to admit to, he would I feel like have a hard time. Well, I guess not really that much of a hard time because it's kind of like whatever he says goes. But it would be to have Jinshi's mom admit that she
basically
sabotaged the actual previous emperor's son.
Brother.
No, the previous emperor's son killed in this dramatic switch, because at the time that happened, that like obviously now it's good that Jinshi would be alive because he's the current emperor's son.
Yeah.
But at the time, it
would be treason.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the more important child would have died in that situation. So it would be a very
it would complicate things a lot, yes.
ごきげんよう、ジンシ様。
今日もまた素敵な衣装ですね。
ありがとうございます。
主上はローラン妃のもとに通ってはいるが、あまり触手の動かないという。ローラン妃はかなりのシャレ者で、髪も化粧もコロコロ変わる。訪れるたびに妃が何かわからなくなり、混乱するそうだ。一度は通うことにしているらしい。ローラン妃の父親だ。先の皇太后に気に入られた重臣であり、下手に扱うわけにはいかないからだ。乗り気でないといえば、リーシュ妃も同じ。先の帝の幼児趣味を嫌悪している今の皇帝は、リーシュ妃に手を出すつもりはなさそうだ。少女の頃に今の皇帝を産んだ皇太后は十数年後、もう一人子を産んでいる。その際、イカンは皇太后につき、何事もなく無事に出産を終えた。だが、アードー妃の出産は皇太后の出産と重なったためにないがしろにされ、アードー妃は子宮を失い、今の皇帝の初めての巫女も間もなく亡くなった。もしその時の子が今生きていれば、くだらぬ妄想だ。さっさと次の東宮をこしらえてしまえばいい。
Yeah, so maybe the emperor still doesn't know. Is she pregnant again?
Oh, maybe. Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
すなわち妊娠の可能性がある。いつからでしょうか。
今日からでもいけるか。
はい。
頼んだぞ。
I'm excited getting back into the rear palace.
名前も聞きたくないあれと顔を合わせることはないだろう。気を使ってくれたのだろうか。 どちらにせよまた毒味やあら機嫌がいいのそんなことねんねせっかく期待外がある子が入ってきたと思ったのにねえ久しぶりの高級生活は以前と変わらず
Same room.
独特な毎日を過ごしている
Wow, little
Living the
montage.
life.
これといった確証はない
Hmm.
バードーヒの件でも思ったがただの公職親父じゃないのかもしれないでも心強かったアードーヒが去り代わりに受代してきたのは宮廷にすら影響を与えかねない代わりだと言って子ができても厄介頭の痛い話だろうねねえねえ聞いたそういう一人が
Oh.
身請けされるんだって
身請
Oh. Sucks to be that guy.
It could be one of the other ones.
I don't think they'd show him if it was one of the other ones.
Yeah. Sorry. Sucks to be not rich.
We kind of just went away from the
Other
crazy shit.
Yeah,
Towards
the
the end.
show just pulled what Maomao seems to just do within her mind, and just like
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
all
oh
of
yeah,
these
I guess
thoughts. Let me just.
let's forget them for now, I guess.
But yes, he is a eunuch
In
disguise.
but not the disguise, like, I mean, he looks the same if he's coming as the emperor's brother.
Yeah.
So like he just dresses differently and doesn't take the drug, and I guess he's
I think he still takes a drug, but it wouldn't necessarily appear suspicious because people aren't probably inspecting him as closely, and he's young. Because Jinshi, the eunuch, is supposed to be 24, which it would be very suspicious if he didn't look more manly by then as a 24-year-old, but as a 19-year-old, it wouldn't be that incredibly suspicious. But I guess it just means that he lives his life as Jinshi the eunuch almost 24/7, other than when he secretly like goes into different areas where only people who know who he is are.
yeah.
And because of the design of the palace, I think it is like not super easy, but you're able to do that because of all these like segmented areas of like
Yeah.
these people are only allowed within these 4 walls.
Yeah.
These type of people are only allowed. No one else. You know, it's very.
I just thought there would be another trick to it, and there kind of was with the drug, but there kind of isn't because, like, it doesn't just work instantly. It's like he has to be on it for a while and then be off of it. Maybe that... No. Yeah, so I get... It's just basically... The drug is there to make him seem like a eunuch, but not taking the drug for a bit. You'd probably have to stop taking it for probably like a week or two.
I think the thing is that I think that he takes it all the time.
Yeah.
I
So
think
then
that he
there's no
doesn't go
difference.
off of it.
So then there's no difference is my point. I'm
Yeah.
just trying to point that out because I think it is kind of one of those things that maybe in the book it is more plausible kind of in the way that things are described that people would not. But like if you see somebody, they like we see him. We see him as Jinshi and as the emperor's brother. So like
but I guess what I'm trying to say is I think the only people that see him,
I understand with only some people see, but that's not true because at the garden party there were people there, plenty of people there. I mean, I guess they're far away and it's like hard to get a close look, I guess is the other caveat, but again that seems kind of thin. I guess I'm willing to accept it, but I'm if I were in the crowd where, because lihaku was there and he walks around in I guess not in the, again, like you said, in the place with all the concubines and stuff. So, I don't know. He showed up at Jinshi's place and he was there during the garden party seeing Jinshi when he was out of character as the emperor's brother, and then goes to the place and probably sees Jinshi from time to time walking around as, he works there and he's an official as well. It's just that, you know, with the amount of cross-pollination and the amount that people talk, he's not different enough looking that people wouldn't, like, not even just Maomao, but like random people in question. But it's the logic of the show, so I will go with it, even though it's unlikely. It's not completely outlandish, I guess, and it, you know, they're putting effort into explaining why it would be plausible that, you know.
Yeah.
And but then I wonder if this scene is, or this part of the episode is supposed to be the reveal that he is that, like, because they lay it all out in front of you, but they don't say it.
Yeah,
you know?
I think
so
that
like
this
I think
is
it's
them
just another
saying it.
layer of, you know, oh, if you're like, how much or how closely are you paying attention? Did you figure it out when we figured it out, or this episode, or like closer, and then eventually there's going to be a big thing where it's like, I'm the actual prince, you know.
And I mean, there could be some people too who thought that he was the prince but was also a eunuch.
Yeah.
So they're trying to confirm how this guy is passing off as a eunuch when eunuchs have a specific look to them because because their hormones are messed with. So they're trying to, because he's getting to the point where he's not young enough that he just would look, you know what I mean, like that he would just look that way naturally.
Yeah, and the eunuch thing with like them looking a certain way, that's something, if it were live action, I think it would be
more obvious
that like, oh, this person's clearly a eunuch. They have like the puffy cheeks and like the, you know, whatever, and like the quack doctor, for example, and you know, whatever. Like it would be more obvious, and it maybe is more obvious in the book, maybe with people being described a certain way if they're eunuchs. Like, oh, you can tell they're a eunuch based on their characteristic. Maybe it's a theme that has been brought up multiple times. In the anime, they mention people are a eunuch, or that they're, you know, these are the eunuchs that like work here, I guess. But they just look like anime characters. Like as far as like, oh, Maomao mentioning, or them mentioning like, oh, we need to take this drug so that we look like a eunuch. He looks the same as any other man, you know, as far as he's just lines on a face of an anime character. So it's just, that's not even a criticism. That's just something kind of interesting to think about with like how that detail is like one of the pieces to put together. I imagine like the original story, perhaps, but in the anime, it's harder to like place a weight on that.
And interesting with this, like, because there's the whole thing like, oh, is she involved with that? But it seems like we're just moving away from that, and she is like her own thing of like a potential political problem. And is just kind of doing her own thing. She's trying out all these different crazy styles, which kind of aligns with, it doesn't seem like, oh, she's from the South, but is pretending she's from the North by these clothes. It's like, no, every week she has a new fashion from somewhere else.
But if the emperor who's fucking her has a difficulty recognizing her every 2 weeks that he comes to see her, that's a different level. That's like, I think that, you know, I don't think it's fully disconnected, because we also have a woman who is masquerading as a man walking around and is, you know, maybe he comes over and she's there and he can't tell the difference because he's fucking two other women as well. And she looks different every week. So, you know, it could be anybody under there, because he's like,
he has no idea. He's like,
literally, every time he visits her, he gets confused. That's a weird thing to say about somebody that you have sex with every 10 days on clockwork, and every time it seems like it's a new person. I wonder if one of the 100 times you do it, it maybe was a new person. I don't know how that would factor into political scheming, but it's very fucking interesting. And then who was with here? Who is that?
He said that it was the teacher of the
doctor.
Yeah. Weird how many like apothecary / doctor guys adopt like psychotic master alchemist daughter with crazy blue eyes and black hair. It's weird that it happened twice.
Yeah, if I had a nickel for every time, my first thought was, is that Gaoshun? But that doesn't make any sense, because then in the next scene they bring up that Gaoshun has all these kids.
Yeah.
And Gaoshun was the one to inspect. Like, are they setting that up now, where like Gaoshun is now in the crosshairs for some political scheming, because he's like with Jinshi this whole time, and he, you know, maybe has his own things going on. I don't think that's likely, but it's definitely a possibility. And then this girl, how they just made such a big deal about how she was from the South and with the seaweed and all that shit, and that's like a big part of all of this. And then she is always dressed up in makeup. She's basically in a disguise all the time. You know, hey, people don't recognize Jinshi when he has a different fucking haircut and wears some slightly nicer clothes. Would they recognize? They don't recognize him as Jinshi. They recognize him as the Emperor's brother. Do you think they recognize this random fucking woman if she was just a different person wearing makeup? Like, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Disguises, you know, maybe he's in disguise. She's in disguise as well. I also note that he is wearing like this badge. Like, this is a high level person because I think the Emperor. Yeah,
they said that he was.
They did say that, but like, you know, not just vaguely high-level military guy. He's like one of the tip-top military people, most likely, because of that. And I think only the Emperor has a little hat like that, judging by this next scene where she's tasting food for them. Like, it's a different symbol, but it's like, you know,
Similar.
Not everybody has something like that on them. And he's the fucking Emperor, so. How does it all fit together? There's something going on here.
Yeah, I feel like now that we're back here, we're going to be getting a little bit more of all this. Because we kind of left it behind for this, like, weird, like, whirlwind that ended up all being tied together. Like, murder mystery plot. But then it's just kind of getting left. It's just like, that's on the back burner now. Let's go over here. And I'm really interested to see what's going to, like, be going on over here. Because if things are ranking up, if she is pregnant and she has a boy, then that could like drastically change everything.
Because Jinshi clearly was thinking like, you know, he has dreams of potentially being emperor. Obviously, he thinks about that a lot as he's put these pieces together himself. Yeah,
it's also seems like, judging by the conversation that he had with himself in his mind along that bridge, that he is kind of pulling a maomao on like, I'm not going to think about the fact that I could be their son that died, even though I, like, get along with the mother of that dead child, like, so incredibly well, and we look the same, and we, like, hang out all the time.
And he cried and, like, clutched maomao in his lap when she left, because he was super sad that he pretty much knew that it was his mom. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I still haven't put it past gyokuyou being some kind of a mastermind in all this as well. I think there's still perhaps something going on with that too. Not, you know, it's definitely not the most forefront thing, but you know, narratively speaking, from like we go through all this and we find out everything that we've been doing is connected. Well, not everything. A lot of things we've been doing have been connected since the beekeeper lady. Yeah. And so then, I guess all the stuff in the rear palace is just completely separate. Oh, well, now we're going to go back to the rear palace. Wouldn't it be crazy if we think that that's all behind us, all this stuff, and, you know, there's a few loose threads, but nothing going on right now. Then we go back to the rear palace, and oh shit, all of it's actually connected? And gyokuyou is, like, one of the people behind all this, or is at the very least a piece in the puzzle?
I feel like something like that could be interesting, but I feel like I don't know how long the thing is, because I feel like you wouldn't want to do the thing where it's like every single thing the entire time was all connected. I feel like you would have to be strategic of like, some things are maybe a red herring, like, oh, you think that how does this work into it, but then it turns out that it doesn't, you know, like there would have to be some things that were just true accidents, and then some things that were accidents made to, or
so far everything has been connected. So far everything that's happened has been connected to either Jinshi's past or fucking maomao's past, and the show does a good job less of doing red herrings and more of layering information beneath, like, more attractive, shiny information, and keeping things very hidden. You know, like, I don't think there's been anything, in any significant detail so far that's been like, oh, that's completely irrelevant to everything else. It's, you know, kind of everything has been connected, so I assume that everything will continue to be connected. Not saying that it definitely will, or that that's like it needs to in order to be a good story. Because I think you're right that there's definitely room for something like that. But judging by just how I view the series based on how far we are, it's I can't think of a single like one of those critical details that's like not related to some kind of crazy secret identity or fucking crazy plot. Because before, if you talked to me before, like last couple episodes, where there was a revealed all of the things that Maomao has been doing has been a part of a crazy secret plot, then I would agree with you. But since then, we basically learned that everything that's happened, up to a certain point, has been, a part of a greater plan, and that plan isn't over yet, which means that there could be other things related to it as well.
Yeah.
And a huge portion of the story happened where we are just returning to. So I don't think that nothing's going to happen now that we're here. I think that it's probably going to connect back to this main larger plot. And it would be a very interesting way to connect it back if it turns out that just like since episode 12, how a lot of the things that Maomao's been doing since then were all connected in some crazy plot. The same might be true for everything that we did before with, gyokuyou and the makeup. And, like, she knew, but then Liwa didn't, even though Maomao gave notes to both of them. Maybe, like, they removed the note. I made a bunch of theories about that, because it'd be worth it for her to, especially now that she's pregnant again. She's pregnant again, she has a son. Oh, how convenient that Liwa's son died of this poison. Even though Maomao was there to interfere. How fortuitous is that her son is alive, or that her son died and then Gyokuyou's son's alive. I think that might come back in some way now that she's pregnant again.
Yeah, I think that if we see something suspicious, then it will, be a little bit more illuminating as to her motives. But then that's the other thing is, like, if she can go, if like nothing more is suspicious throughout her whole pregnancy, then it will just be like, because that would be like the time that you would be needing to be most like aggressive in your scheming because you're more vulnerable,
I think, well, in a way, I think she's being more defense mode. I think a pretty aggressive scheming is possibly setting up the death of your competition, and being cozied up with the guy who prevents other people from becoming your competition.
Yeah.
By being super hot, like hanging out with him and confiding in him and staying close to him so that you know what else is going on and what other women are catching the Emperor's eye in the meanwhile. Well, giving him aphrodisiac or setting up this or that or all that type of shit. It's I think that I think that a lot of her hardest work is behind her. But she might also know that Jinshi is the actual prince and outranks her son, technically speaking. In that case, if that gets revealed, that would change her. But if that does get revealed, she might be one of the first people to find out because she's always hanging out with Jinshi, or at least was. Yeah. Regardless, that would completely change, her security in all of this. Or maybe she does know, and she helped orchestrate the assassination attempt on Jinshi in the fucking ceremony. That would make a lot of sense, wouldn't it? Because she is now pregnant with another son, and if she did have a hand in Liwa's child's death, because it's another one of those things that looks like it was an accident. It looked like she just got lucky, right? But perhaps she had some way of furthering that along. And, she appeared sick as well, but maybe she was dosing herself just enough to, like, put herself in harm's way. It's like a gamble. I don't know. And there was, like, a big competition there. I think that's going to come back in a big way. Calling it right now. We'll have to see. Leave a like, subscribe, stay, Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
Bye-bye.